Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Let's stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Start. So, previously we thought we were going to be able to recommend approval tonight, but since that time, there's been enough revision that we decided we're not going to proceed with that going forward for this evening. But I think we're going to need to have more than just tonight and in December. I think we'll probably need to go into January. Just to make sure. Yeah, I think with the holidays and everything, we want to make sure we pay close enough attention and get everything done. It does not, we should not rush. So that said, I kind of like to get meetings set for December and January. The December trustee meeting, it doesn't really matter, I don't think too much, but we want to make sure we know when it is the 17th. I don't know if we want to just go ahead and take Thursdays.
I know that Thursdays are safer.
Yes, they are.
That's why I think it would be nice to stay there if we could. I will say I already have a meeting on the 18th.
Okay. What about the 11th?
I am good on the 11th.
You guys good on the 11th? Okay, so we'll go ahead and set it for, do we want to do 5:30?
Here,
Yes. And you can probably, Holly, you'll take care
I'll make sure Ashley
Knows.
knows and I'll make sure there's no conflicts.
of. So then if we look into January, which
And how long should we plan on for that meeting?
a 3 hour,
3 hour till 8:30?
I think so.
Yeah, that's fine.
We want to take the time we need to answer all the residents' we have on comments, make sure that we get a good thorough review. Okay, so then looking into January. The trustee, let's see, Thursdays. Christmas is on a Thursday this year. I don't think we want to do that. Do we want to just do the 11th of December? Does that work for everybody? Oh, jeez. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Yes,
January.
my brain just go
Okay.
detour. 15 of
That is
January.
not the week, cause I know that we're going that week in December, but it's not the week that the Heritage group meets in here, is it?
Oh, I don't know.
Cause that one time we met on a Thursday and we had to move. See if I can
I could
look
pull it
on the
up.
calendar.
My hands, I don't think that's good.
I don't think it's gonna stop you.
Maureen,
Yeah, it is.
Home Township is scheduled at 7 PM on the 11th.
Yeah.
Okay, on the 11th of December,
Yep.
at 7.
Yep. Do you want to start earlier?
I think, could you guys start earlier?
I could.
I
but-
could you tell, the 11th, can we start at,
January,
no, we're
December.
just,
We're back to December.
could we start at 4:30?
4:30, yeah. I can-
Okay, let's just do that. It might be, it's mostly discussion,
So
so,
4:30 to 7?
yeah. Okay.
And
January,
January, I think we're gonna be safer if we go to that 4th.
the 22nd?
Yeah.
Okay. Then that could be 5:30 to
5:30.
5:30 to 8:30. Okay. All right.
This says Girl Scouts. Do they meet in here?
Probably.
Okay.
Well, and the other thing is that if we were ready, the trustee meeting is on the 21st.
So let's,
What about a Monday or a Tuesday? The zoning meets.
looks like the 12th, the 13th and 14th all have stuff in here.
What about 1920?
20th, I don't see anything.
Tuesday, the 20th?
That's
Make
hard to.
sure my calendar's free.
So next, the 22nd, and we'll
Mhm.
do the,
Well, she's got to check hers first.
I'm good on the 20th.
Okay, so let's go for the 20th at 5:30.
in January, right?
Yes,
5:30 to 8:30.
8:30-ish, because it could, I mean, I think that we want to come out of that meeting probably.
BZA that night because that's Martin Luther King on Monday and we'll be meeting on.
So it'll
Tuesday.
shift, okay. That's not gonna work. I don't think then we're gonna be able to recommend in January. Unless I don't know that we can go like back it up. And we have to meet here because it has to be recorded. We can't go to the Grange or somewhere else.
It would be easier for us to be
Mhm.
here. I'm not seeing anything on the 15th. Does the Heritage Group not meet in January?
Anybody know about the Heritage Group?
Do you want to try for the 15th?
Let's try for the 15th then. Okay,
Yeah.
then we'll just go ahead and,
15th, they may not have scheduled them for next year.
and what I would say then, let's make it 4:30.
4:30?
Yeah. If we can.
Got it.
That way we can have some time before 7, even if they do meet.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's the Thursday the 15th.
yes. Okay, so I'll reiterate just so that we get all are on the same page. December 11th, which is a Thursday, 4:30 to 7 here. And then the 15th, which is also a Thursday, 4:30 to 7. And that puts us in front of the trustee meeting on the 21st, so that we could make a recommendation there in the similar way that we plan to do this time. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. So 6 PM here on the 21st for
Yep.
this group as well. Alrighty. Check. So then, thanks for getting these comments together. They're excellent. Nice to have them all put together. What I'd kind of like to do is table any comments that say labeled for discussion with the committee, just simply because I want to get through as many of the things that are answered tonight as possible. And then we can just start with, we'll also table the comments from the steering committee and we'll move on to the trustee meeting and the other written comments. One of the things I did want to discuss is how to get feedback and answers to the people who made the comments. I know I got some similar comments from the same person, and I wanted to make sure that person knew what the answer to the comment was or the question, so that we make sure that we don't have lingering misunderstandings and that residents are aware that they're being heard. So I don't know the best way to do that other than, whoever we got the comment from verbally, or do we publish it? But I think the personal touch is kind of better.
So I personally think that if you talked with someone and they gave you comments, if you could reach out to that person and have a conversation with them, that would be the best. Some of these, like the 1018 public meeting comments, we don't know who made them.
No, we don't.
So we'll just have to put this, I think this is out there on the website.
Yeah.
And I know I've missed time, but these comments we're discussing now are from when?
The very first ones are from the 1018 public meeting. So we're kind of going earliest to latest.
Okay, and
Thank you.
do we have those electronically? Is everyone
Holly
have
Yeah, I
copies of
sent
those?
to you
I
guys.
sent
Yeah.
them
Okay.
a while back.
And I'm gonna put them up on the screen.
Yeah, that's good. And so anything that says did not yet change for discussion with the committee, we're going to table for tonight, just simply because there's a lot of those that we need to discuss. Okay. Do you have a copy of the strategic plan? Draft 3? This is mine, so we can share though. Share. I'm having a hard copy because it's easier to flip around. Okay, the very first one is under priority area, distinct, connected and rooted in the land. We had Post-it notes that the goal should be to minimize density. There's a lot of comments about minimizing density. So that's just one of the things that I think the trustees are going to need to address with residents. So the next bullet point is that on page 45, which is here. Clarified the text under the recommended changes by overlay district, and it says that they should be reviewed to reflect the appropriate density as conditions evolve. So I don't know if we want to address how to answer the question of reduction or minimization of density. I think our trustees, at least,
That should be, they should be.
right, the appropriate density.
Yeah,
So, we can move on from there. And then this is 25 square miles. Under the same priority, there was a post-it note that says, we don't need, is 25 square miles. It does not particularly need local or internal job opportunities, instead minimize density. So the comment back from, Crossroads is no changes were made regarding local or internal job opportunities. Not sure how density has to do with the job opportunities, but. So we went to 47 and 48, and so there's pages 47 and 8 say economic plan discuss the importance of having a diversified tax base. And then also there's another thing that the recommended changes had the appropriate densities as they can evolve. And then a comment of good job. You guys have any feedback to these comments?
Well, I mean, the earlier one about the appropriate density being, it is very vague.
Mm-hmm.
So
And-
that needs to be,
And it remains vague.
I don't think you can make it. That's,
well, I mean, there are things that would play into lot size, like how large the lot needs to be to support septic, as well as, of course, I mean, it
The-
can be lot size, appropriate lot sizes are 2 acres.
that's for areas that don't have
Have sewer.
sewer, most of this area is going to have sewer.
So the overlays require sewer. So that's what the,
Well, doesn't that require greater discussion on even with sewer?
I think
Can't
that
that be firmed up? Appropriate is just so vague.
appropriate is vague, but this is a strategic document and the zoning densities are in the zoning itself, in the zoning referendum. I think that one of the issues is that the township wants to make sure the density is minimized, right? Residents want to make sure we minimize.
Maybe so appropriate can be refer back to zoning language or something like that. For appropriate, is it an industrial overlay? Is it a residential?
Well, this was just this is under the the intentional growth and development. And also the same comment was made in several places about minimizing density. And I think that minimizing density isn't really specific to those things necessarily.
sure.
I think that it's a thing that it is, and I think maybe that's one of the things that needs to be addressed is that residents want to see minimal density. So the answer is not necessarily there's something wrong with this document, but that
That's.
there's an overarching principle that residents want
Yeah.
minimal density. And I don't know. When we look through, I think what I'd like to do is read the executive summary, and I think there already is information in there about define local autonomy, small town atmosphere, rural architecture. And maybe we need to just put something in there about as minimal density as can be supported or something
Yeah.
like that in the executive summary so that we cover it early. So I'm kind of getting bogged down, so I don't want to do that exactly, but I think that we need to make sure that somehow we're addressing the overarching principle that most residents want to maintain minimal density. Okay. Okay, under recommendations, I am going to address this one, and there were no changes made, but we're not going to discuss it anymore. But under recommendations for support, the revitalization of Center Village, there was a Post-it note that said, pointing to the establishment of a CIC or leveraging limited home rule authorities. The note says, great, need it sooner.
Did we skip? stuff?
Yeah, no, we didn't. We had two, this one and this one, which were the same thing.
And then I have research large lot developers.
Yeah, but that's one of the ones that says did not
Oh,
change
so
yet.
you're just skipping over those. I thought,
Altogether, yeah, because
Yep.
we want to discuss those
Okay.
at length. Yep. So I think, that's probably something for the trustees to look at, that there are people that really support that leveraging home rule. So we're going to skip the whole next section of the steering committee comments and move to where it's public comments of the 10-2 trustee meeting. Because there's a lot of feedback there.
Okay.
So economic part of the plan feels generic and could be applied to anywhere in central Ohio. There is no mention of the township's strategic priorities. So that chapter has been completely rewritten.
Mhm.
I have not had a chance to go through the whole thing with the fine tooth comb, but I think that, I don't know if there's some way we can highlight that to residents, that the whole chapter has been rewritten, and it seems to be far more in line with what we would expect, which is that the township owns its economic development with the help and support of Delaware County, One Columbus, New Albany Company. There's support available to us
Yep,
to realize the vision for the township.
right. Do you think, and I can, lean to the communications committee, but is it something that we send an email out saying, hey, did you know that this whole section was completely rewritten? And then just give that section.
I think that might be a very good idea.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Because I think everybody felt that it was hurried and rushed.
I'll work with the communications committee on that.
So the next comment was for discussion, and the next two comments were for discussion. I did notice there's some JED stuff in the new economic development plan.
So we talked about that, my team and Dana's team.
Mm.
Dana did not put that in the original economic development chapter because we had mentioned it in our stuff. And we said, well, we just put it there because we wanted to make sure it got put in. And we were gonna take it out if you put it in. So he was like, go ahead and move it over to my section, because it makes more sense to put it there.
It does.
Yeah.
Mhm. But then I think there's more questions about income tax and stuff like
Right.
that. So we'll have to address that further. So then the next one that we come to is business parks must be done the right way out of the gate. We'll set the stage for everything else. Page 48. Yes. Bobby Turner, report 5.
7,
There we go.
8.
Business campus should exemplify the highest quality standards, setting a precedent for future development within the township that reflects Harlem Township's priorities and desired aesthetic. Okay, right here.
Locked. I think somebody's knocking for them.
I think that's a fair thing to put in. I think the zoning is the thing that really matters.
Yeah.
So,
This is saying we need to set the zoning
Yeah.
to those standards.
yes. So the next one is industries don't seem to align with priorities. Business and the industry types were intended to be suggestive. They have been removed. The emphasis was intended and remains to be on the township determining what it desires relative to economic development. specific business and industry types cited by the respective economic development strategies will remain as those are adopted strategies. Okay, I understand what you're saying. So the state has its priorities. One, Columbus has its priorities, the county has its priorities. Those are already adopted. They're in place, that we're not changing those. But what we're doing is highlighting that the township will leverage those where we see fit
Where
for our staff,
appropriate,
where
yeah.
appropriate.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah. So our priorities will be set by us but wherever we can align with partners, we will.
Yes.
Because they can help.
Yep.
But we're not going to
We're not-
necessarily just implement their priorities. Okay. Which now this actually isn't apropos anymore because it's been changed so much. I
Right.
think it doesn't fit anymore. So workforce development, campus to train people in the trades, research and development for smart building materials, 3D printing, housing, built here and installed in Columbus. Interesting. Innovate research and development, maker spaces, advanced woodworking or glass blowing, blacksmithing, coding, vertical farming, research for vertical farming. That looks like. So the new language in chapter 4 speaks to workforce development. The Delaware County Workforce Alliance consists of multiple agencies working together with K through 12, colleges and universities, and technical schools to coordinate meeting the workforce needs of businesses. The township can be an active participant in this alliance. The revisions to chapter 4 also address business creation as a component of economic development. The County Office of Economic Development actively engages with business, education, and government to support startup businesses, on and on. This is very active in Central Ohio. Specific examples include Ohio Wesleyan University. Okay, the township is welcome to join in this effort. Okay, that's fair. And that's clearly stated in the new plan.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Any comments? Okay. So page 37.
The other way.
That's the other way. I'll turn back. I'll let you flip it and look for it. The 37's here.
Oh, 37, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Table that indicates TIF and JED revenue. Resident wants more detail to this. John said this is a high level development. The specific fiscal analysis would be done at the project level. Resident just wants the spreadsheet that supports the high level numbers on page 37. They don't exist anymore.
So it might just be a
page.
different page,
Okay.
but it is in there still.
Okay.
You see
It was page 37. Is it this one or the table?
the table. Yeah, it's that one.
Okay, so the spreadsheet with assumptions were shared with crosswords and is available upon, okay.
So that table is a
What page is
summary.
that too?
This is now on page 40.
So the table that's on page 40 of draft 3 is a high level review of what could be generated on 100 acre, 200, 3 acre, 300
Got
acre
it.
business park. Behind that, to get to that high level number, is a detailed spreadsheet
Got it.
that we have and that Dana gave to me, and I can give that to anybody, but it's not something that you put in a strategic plan.
document. Mhm. This, because it's kind of an example, it's not something real.
Right.
Okay, good. Okay, the next comment there is one for suggestion, mass email suggestion for discussion with the committee. Didn't we send the executive summary already?
We did. It might have been, that comment might have been made before we did that,
Okay.
because this is all the way
10-2.
back to 10-2.
Yeah. I don't know if it hurts to send it again, if we add a little bit to the strategic, to the executive summary about making sure that the density, so I'm gonna make a note there. Address density more specifically. In the executive summary.
And I'll talk to the committee, the executive or the communications committee. It may be if we want to do spot, like here's the executive summary, and then wait a little bit, here's the chapter 4 revised.
Yeah. So there's not a blip.
Yeah,
it's
because
a-
I don't want it to get blended together and people not
Right,
see it.
okay, and then resend, okay. Okay, so that one's done now, even though it's for discussion. Okay, so that brings us to other written comments received. So these, I think, came through,
Oh, there we go. Can you see that now?
these came through residents.
Through a lot of them,
That online tool.
it either came through the online tool or they emailed one of the steering committee members who forwarded it to me.
Yeah, okay, good. Okay, partner with land trusts, thank you, or establish a local program to purchase agriculture easements, ensuring farmland remains protected from development in perpetuity. This comment was already addressed. That was on 52 of a draft, but I don't know if it's still on 52, yeah. Open space program similar to Granville townships. Is it still 52?
That might be.
Open space, protect and enhance open space. Granville. Yes, it does. This is so. I don't know how that came through, but that's one that should probably, if we can find out who did it.
Yep.
Then direct them to, that the comment was already addressed. The next one is, for further discussion. Okay, here we go. Require buffer zones between residential developments and agricultural areas to minimize conflicts and maintain the visual separation of rural landscapes. The bottom of other written comments received. Did this get out of whack? There. We're good. Never mind. I got it. The next one up is encourage developments like Aberlin Springs.
Okay, that's where I was.
I needed page numbers in here because I'm flipping over. Okay, and that's already on page 48 and 50. And is present in the future landmass. So that's another one that we can see if we can find out who made this comment and get back with them. The next one down is mandate the use of native plants and landscaping for new developments. I'll let you get there. To maintain the natural ecosystem and rural aesthetic. As native plantings are already required within the overlay districts, this recommendation was added for all new developments in the I can't say it. Resiliency development on 48.
I'm kind of lost here, so
Okay.
I saw we went through partner with lands trusts, require buffer zones, and then we didn't discuss implement lighting regulations.
No, we didn't do any of those because that's a no changes made yet. That's for discussion. So anything that was
Okay.
with further discussion, we were going to just
Okay,
hold.
so we're down, we did encourage developments like Aberlin Spring,
Mhm. And
maintain and enhance. Okay, that's.
maintain the
fine.
use of
So
native
you- so you
plants.
drop down to mandate use of native plants.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you for making sure we're
No.
on the same page.
I
Yeah,
didn't
right
realize
here, native
where it's from.
plantings. Yep, okay, that's there on page 48. So that's another one. We see if we can find out who made that comment and get back. Okay, the next one is designate and enhance rural gateways into the township with signage, landscaping, and design elements that reflect the township's rural identity. 66. Hopefully that's still on 66. Ooh, I went too far.
It's a number in blue, it should be this draft. If it's a number in black,
That's helpful.
it should be referring to the old draft.
Should've just picked up. Okay, 66. Develop cohesive township branding. Yeah, again, same
Yep.
action to get back if we can. Okay. The next one then was protect and establish wildlife corridors, for example, Duncan Run, to maintain biodiversity and the natural environment. So we're on page 53, so flip back this way.
The other way.
Clustering of open spaces and connectivity. Right. This one, proactive planning and open space clustering and trail connectivity. Okay, that's another one, get back if we can. Then on old page 43, which I don't know what that is, regarding expanding permitted uses to include condominiums, duplexes, triplexes, and supporting aging in place. We think that since the text currently allows common wall single-family attached dwelling, it already allows these uses unless something additional needs to be added for aging in place. Condominium is an ownership term and not a residential style, and the reference to common walls allows any number of attached units. Okay, revised language in the CRCD modifications from condominiums, duplexes, triplexes, and housing options that support aging in place to language that aligns with Harlem Township zoning code definitions. 3-family dwellings, row homes, townhomes, and housing options that support aging in place, page 45. Done. Okay, so that's a get back.
Yep.
With whoever gave it, if we can. So the next one's for discussion. And then there's also page 45, the phrase property owners must comply with both the underlying zoning and overlay requirements isn't accurate. It was a typo and that's taken care of. Page 48, which is now still page 48 and stuff. The land use map references B, senior housing and condominiums. Also check the spelling of condos in the legend. This does not appear to be referenced anywhere else, and the roughly 280-acre area is not part of the proposed Center Village overlay area. Seems like an odd placement and size for that type of, okay. The typo has been corrected. The area is intended as a transitional area from the strategic industry land uses to Center Village while providing aging supportive housing, and language has been added on page 49.
And that area was something that you as a strategic steering committee identified when we did that map.
The land use map.
Yep.
I think there still might be a little bit of confusion, the difference between zoning and
Yes.
land use. So I think that might be another communication that needs to go out because we need to make sure. And I'm not sure how to label it exactly, but land use is a glint.
Yep.
Zoning is real.
Yep.
But overlays are a glint until there's sewer.
Yep.
And that wasn't very clear communication. So, Tom, you got it. It's a dream in someone's mind for right now, or an idea. It's an idea. Okay. Okay, page 48, which is now still 48.9. We just did that one. Okay. Has been revised to more clearly describe each land use and aspirational development type. Aspirational is a good word. I think that's my glint. Um. Okay, good stuff. Just a point of information, we haven't seen previous reference to the current farmland preservation easement on parcel, I'm not gonna say it, located in A agri community. The proposed map and sub area do support that, but maybe it's worth a mention in the text somewhere. The easements on the property are already mentioned on page 48, and pages 48 and 49 have been revised to more clearly describe each land use and aspirational development type. So there we
I
go.
can get back with the person on that one.
Get back. Okay, this is one that is an interesting comment. I imagine the county will continue to seek other arterial roads as development occurs.
I think that came from the Delaware County Regional. Planning Commission, so.
Okay. All righty. Not all field trips are listed here. We took care of that. March 10th should be May 10th.
That was a typo.
Typo, corrected. Okay, and then we have a long, these are comments, a lot. There's a lot of comments, but I think how we are on time.
Oh,
About 15 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah, you're
25.
25 till.
Well, we can't go right up till 7 because
No,
we
we're
have
not
to
gonna do that.
readjust, so.
So I think, let's see how far we are. Yeah. We might be able to get through a couple of these. So the economic development chapter is pretty much the same as the first draft, which was not good. I think we're all in alignment with that, which is why it was rewritten. So I think maybe I'm gonna scroll through here to see if I can put if there's anything more in here that needs to go in here. I think this is one where we point the person who sent this
Mhm.
to the revision. So that they can see if the comment still holds or if there's anything further they want to comment on. So that we can make sure that we're not addressing things that are no longer in the plan. The next one, there should be no new proposed overlay districts or changes to any existing overlays in the strategic plan. According to the plan, we are mid-2028 before sewers are available. We have existing overlay districts all over the township. Okay. It's fine. The future land map use is fine. That's good. The recommendation should be for the zoning commission to work within the existing districts or utilize. So we have not made any changes to overlay districts and no recommendation for changes at this point. Or is there a new,
There are some recommendations for some modifications within the over,
but not new districts?
not new districts, no,
Right.
correct.
So the modifications, I think at the next meeting, I'd kind of like to
Yep.
go through the modifications. We haven't changed where the parcel, the boundaries though, right? Okay, no change to the boundaries. So I think that's what we get back to, because I think that might have been no change to the boundaries. We are back at net, so that's fine, but then the other not modifications to recommended modifications. I think I'd like to have those kind of spelled out so that we can address each one. Okay, the next one refers to net density, which is back to that. So that one, I've already gotten back to the person that I think made this, but I think we can, I'll make sure we can address it again. I think the plan, okay, what's this next one? I think the plan overall is good, as it has captured the essence of who we are and who we want to be. How we get there is the issue. The economics piece is too one Columbus focused. Okay, let's get back to this person. Because this is the minimum viable density approach, so we don't get sued, yet still provide a mix of business that we would all be happy to have in our community. Okay, so. Other verbal comments. Wow, we're getting through it. Worried that the improper selection of businesses or business for the industry park would devalue property. Suggest that just in document the list of, I'm struggling with the sentence structure, of wanted business types be much smaller and not business that will be worrisome. So that's the codes are gone. So this is get back. to the
Yeah,
person.
and these verbal ones are ones that were emailed. I think
Yeah.
people talked to steering committee members and then the steering committee members emailed the comments to me.
Got it.
So I know who these are for sure. I
Okay.
can tell the person you need to respond back to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So whoever the steering committee is responsible on, whoever's on the steering committee that forwarded this.
Yes, correct.
Okay, got it. Why start in the document saying we are willing to give income away by suggesting a tax abatement? Suggestion to remove that from the document. Was it early? I don't remember it ever being early. But page 37 could be a little bit early, I suppose.
Including your side.
Yeah. No, it's on your side because there's a.
Maybe they mean early in the economic development.
Oh, it's the very first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe just move it down.
yeah. Okay.
Because, yeah, if you can attract really good business, it's good, but if you can't,
Yeah.
you shouldn't. It's not okay. The document is too long and the fluff should be removed. The want to put names of the groups that the township are partnering with are unneeded. Scary and concerning, not to not continue the relations, just not needed in the document. So those were removed. The went to New Albany were removed, but one Columbus is.
It's still there, but not, we're not saying
That filter
filter.
funnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's a get back. And what zoning and property rules has Jefferson Township used to keep their rural look and feel? It is an area that comes up as a desirable look. That's for, okay. That's the next time. And then this last one is just one more. If the document is not legally binding or doesn't mean anything, maybe, why would we put this much effort and money into it? Yeah. It helps the trustees know what the strategic priorities of the township are so that they can
Somebody.
have a guiding principle for their decision-making process so they can represent fairly the residents of the township.
100%.
Okay. Did everybody hear that? Can we put that out there? It's a framework.
Plan is not legally binding.
No.
Correct.
No, it's a framework. It's a help. It's a help. Yeah, and we want to help our trustees, help our community. Okay. I think we got through.
Yeah.
Okay, good job, guys. And
Good
look at
job,
that.
you.
Look at us. Does anybody, we can open for a couple minutes if anybody has any comments? I mean, are you here for the trustee meeting or the strategic steering committee meeting? Yeah, I think you might be here for the trustee meeting. Because I'm sure this is not something anybody really wants to sit through necessarily. But make comments if you'd like to.
Just quickly, the Mr. Minimal density.
One of many Mr. Middleton.
So the difference for me between appropriate density and minimal density is huge.
Mhm.
Appropriate density to me begs the question. There's all these forks in the road coming, right? Decisions, how big's the industrial area? How many houses an acre do we allow here? All of those forks in the road. I mean, The principles driving the decisions are listed. Minimal density would be a critical principle. Appropriate density is whatever, right?
Yes,
Whoever's
yes.
making these decisions is gonna decide. Minimizing density is a critical
Strategic
Principle.
priority.
Yes.
Mhm.
driving which way you go at every one of these works. That's what I think I'm advocating for.
And I want to feedback a little bit. I don't know, is there a planning definition of minimum density? No, so that's good because then, you know,
There is in zone,
there isn't zoning.
zoning defines.
Right.
It defines density, but a minimal density for Columbus is not going to be the same as a minimal density for Harlem Township.
Personally, in the most general sense of the English.
Right.
language,
Yes, yes,
two choices on how many houses an acre here. Push towards the less dense of the two
Yeah.
options. It's just that simple. Or,
right.
You know, we want to enable housing that's more affordable. Certain people will, that means more density. Is that necessary, right? Or how big is the village center and what all kind of, you know, how much of it's gonna be businesses and so forth? Well, do we need it? Because the less of the size of that, it's gonna be less density. So if we can get by, right, we're driving toward less, so. I don't think it's a complicated thing, and I just didn't get the feel in the presentation most recently that was really.
At
Maybe it
the
is.
township meeting, the town hall meeting,
and
yeah.
There were all these things, principles that are driving decisions. I didn't see that one in there, and to me, that's like number one.
I think it is for most residents. And if you look at every strategic planning meeting we've had, that's minimal density is always the answer. Mhm. Yes, right.
Why isn't it emphasized to a much, much higher level?
I think that's a fair feedback, but I don't.
I mean, I think it's a question we have to let the trustees decide what is
But
minimal,
if
what
you're-
is
you're the
appropriate.
steering committee, and you're supposed to be offering the advice, getting the input from the community, you, as the
Yes.
steering committee, need to make that point loud and clear.
Yeah, yes.
I have an example.
Can I
Sure,
finish
let's
my
finish.
sentence though? for a
Go
second?
ahead. And because we didn't have to open it up, so we don't want to get too far down the line.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just want to finish it, but I think that a definition should be a little, we need to provide some kind of definition to minimal versus appropriate, what that means to your community. But we also have to take into effect all the other factors that we have identified in this plan. And those help drive what those definitions are. And I just want to make that clear.
yeah.
I have a question about those other factors. Are those factors that the residents truly want and that you have told the residents, or are those factors that consultants think should be put in there because they're politically correct, or?
They are
For whatever
factors
reason.
that are, they're facts of the community. Sewer is
Right.
coming.
Okay,
You have the other surrounding neighborhood communities that you're partnering, potentially partnering with. You have roadways and development pressures from the adjacent communities. These are things that are happening to the township regardless of how you respond.
right, no, I understand, but what about the fact of diversifying the types of housing that we have? So we allow condos when most of the residents don't want that because that only brings in high density. I mean, there are many things that are motherhood statements and consultant and governmental speak that are not what the residents necessarily want.
So I think the overarching principle has to be minimal density because
Beyond minimal density, I'm talking about in general, a lot of the things that are driving what you're putting in the reports and the steering committee. I don't necessarily, I want to know if it's truly from the heart of the residents, or if it's things that you guys have just thought need to be put in there because it's motherhood statements and something that as a government entity, you need to put in there to be politically correct, or
I would say as a member of the strategic steering committee, we've listened to residents the best we can. And put in the desires of the residents and from the meetings that we had.
So if I may.
Yes, please.
to address some of the things you brought up, and you're absolutely correct. It's a global contextual thing that drives
What's going on?
process, okay? There has been, as a result of what you've done, tremendous work. Additional analyzation and consideration of certain areas of plan. And that's exactly what the process is supposed to do.
Right.
You have wisely decided to let's move this out a little bit.
Yeah.
So that we can hear the rest of the comments.
Mhm.
Okay?
Yep.
The southwest corner of Harlem is where a lot of us live that are in the.
And that's where the sewer trunk is, right?
Yeah, well, it's to the east side.
Yeah.
Of the southwest corner. So, density is critical.
Mhm.
Additionally, it's a residential community.
Mhm.
They're large lot, single family communities. Right now, some of the language begins to say high density, commonwealth. Those type of components can happen in that zone. So there's a natural pushback to say, well, time out, wait a minute. Understand what's in this area, this arena, and what does the community feel? Not only within the township in that corner, but adjacent to that corner and the types of properties that are there. So when you hear, my humble opinion, this notion about density, they want to get granular. I want to get granular, okay? So.
Go to the zoning overlays and you can find
zoning
out.
Does that.
Right.
What does zoning say?
Mhm.
Last meeting we had, there's one beautiful tract of land that's just sitting there smiling at everybody, okay? And when we hear a comment that, oh, you're gonna get X number of units per acre, when you do the math, you can take certain lots that are there now, and you come up with 3 times the amount of homes on that single lot. That has a cascading effect
Right.
about property values, environmental impacts, carbon footprint,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. And for folks who, I'm probably the youngest person in the community, I've only been there 18 years. But the whole attraction for people coming to that area is that we have large lots.
Mhm.
We drive down the streets, it's like driving in a park.
I think we all feel the same, and I'm going to do a time check. Yeah, I appreciate the comments. And here's what I would say.
Who can we give these, this is not the right forum, but I need to give this to somebody.
Give it to, well, so the trustee meeting is next, and what I would say is to the point there, please bring your voices to trustee meetings.
Okay.
Bring your voices to trustee meetings. Call your trustees.
Send,
Okay. Call your trustees. We've elected them. They work for us. We work with them. That's how we work together as a community. So thank you, everybody. And we're going to send back our overarching principle is to minimize density. That's a principle. All residents say that. And then we're going to have to adjourn. Thank you, guys.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there a formal revision out that
There's a draft 3. It's out on the website. Mhm.
Ask for
Yeah.
It's a- yeah.
couple weeks.
Yeah. Those things.
Maybe it's just like a buffer between.
I don't know.
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Well, I feel really old.
I said that's a challenge.
Okay.